There, I wanted to go ahead and do a quick review with some basic functions of the Kenwood DNX572 HD. That's the 572 HD, which is a 6.2-inch navigation unit, multimedia unit that Kenwood has for 2015. So I'm going to go ahead and power this thing on. Now, I do have mine wired up a little different than most people probably would. I don't have it wired through the ignition. I have it wired through a switch down here in the bottom of the dash, so I can turn it on and off when the car isn't on. And I also, as a safety, have a voltage meter on the side here so that I can keep an eye on that. And anyway, this is the splash screen here. It shows the Kenwood and the Garmin coming up here and loading the maps in. Has JVC down at the bottom now. Anyway, it takes about 15 seconds or so. I never really timed it to get to whatever you had loaded in previously. I have a screen background on mine. This is the home screen, and I typically have it on standby, to be honest with you, when I have it on, unless I'm using it for something. But anyway, you see the ready to navigate down the bottom. Let me just go through some basic functions here quick. This is the home screen. I have my stuff set up, what I use the most, SD, USB, so on and so forth. The SD is not just for navigation updates. You can use it for real life stuff, like you can with the USB. Let me just show you real quick. I have a movie on right now, and I'll go through here and show you that you can do music and movies on the SD slot. There's a folder list here. You can see the SD on the top there. Anyway, there's the movie folder. It's a full. You can do movies. You can do videos. Music, photos, a little iffy. I tried the photos on here and it had a little bit of a problem with some of the photos. I don't know if it was the size that was causing the problem or what, but anyhow, you can do full movies on here. Let me just put a movie on here and I will show you how quickly this thing loads on the SD. It's going to be a little dependent on the SD card you have in there, but there's a movie. The nice thing about it, you can fast forward this anywhere you need to go. So let me just turn some volume on. Very good sound quality also. It's just an old Raiders of the Lost Ark movie, the original one. And I'll go ahead and close this off here. And go back to the home screen here. As far as the screen background goes, I mentioned that earlier, you can change that. The easiest way to get into the setup, by the way, no matter where you are, whether you're an HD radio or USB SD, if you're watching a DVD, doesn't matter where you are, if you push the volume button and click it just once, it doesn't mute the volume. It actually gives you the screen right here, or this bottom setup here, where you can do the camera, display off and all that. Display off is pretty cool, especially if you use your radio the way I do with my car not on a lot of times. I want to try and save some voltage on the battery. It actually does bring the voltage up a little bit or save a little bit of voltage. But when you turn the display off, all you do is touch it again, or you can hit one of the buttons over here on the side too. But anyhow, HD radio,
very personal decision.
Very nice.
You have to have with your doctor.
Some people might complain about the buttons on the side, but if they're too small for you, you can always make them bigger. Over here.
And the side effects
And you have options over here, of course, for seek and different things. Direct. You can do direct there. Put numbers in directly. Probably the feature that I use the least is the HD radio. But to get back to the screen background, that's what I was going to show you. When you hit that button there, let me just turn the volume down on this. We don't want to hear about somebody taking physical therapy. If you turn the volume down here, and you can go into setup, and there's your options on the screen there. Here's where you change your screen background if you want to just go back to the default, and just go to change, and you can see that's the one I have in there now. This is the default Kenwood, and that you can change the colors on too. If you go back, excuse me, you can go to color. And right now it's got colors. You can set the palette here for that. It's on green right now. If you go to red, it'll change the background to red, and it'll also change your button or your backlight here on the hard buttons here too. Excuse me. Anyway, yeah, I leave it on green because my car is actually a light green color. So anyhow. And again, if you want to go back to your source real quick, you see how far in we are. We're doing that. Go back to your source. You just hit that, and you hit that button, and you hit the source on the bottom right. So there we are. We're back there again. Now, some other stuff you can do with this. You can do a DVD, of course, and that brings up real quick. It comes up real quick. And yeah, the DVD and the SD are probably what I use the most. As you can see, it's playing a DVD there now. And of course, you have your full DVD function. That's something it would be nice to have the remote for, which I don't have. You have to get the remote separately with this unit. So we hit the stop button here and go back to the home screen. It's actually pretty zippy. It moves back and forth pretty quick considering all the stuff that's going on. You have a telephone. If you have your telephone programmed in, you have Bluetooth. Bluetooth works pretty good. It doesn't take too long to connect. I have it through my phone, of course. Anyway, you don't have the functions you have when you have the SD and the USB, so I usually listen to my music through the SD card or the USB drive. You only have fast forward and pause, and you can see what you have here to stop and, you know, play and all that. But you don't have the folder option here to go through, so you'd have to use your phone in order to change your folders and so on. I have a lot of classical music on there. And of course you have standby. And your different options here you can see on the screen: Pandora, iPod, apps. If you had some additional adapters, cables, whatever you would need, your OEM features here is actually pretty cool. I've seen some videos on that where you can go in and use a lot of different features your car might have available. There's your nav button that you wanted to, you could put on your main screen. I used the nav on the bottom, or on the hard button, or on the bottom, which I'm going to do now. Of course, you have the agree screen, it has to come up. Standard Garmin, GPS, review your map, and you can see my trip log here with all the aqua color. That's where I've been the last 2 weeks or so. You have your traffic right there if you have that activated, or if you're in an area where traffic is available, it'll show up there. And you have your eco route right there, and it gives you just a basic idea. It's not HD, eco route HD, it just gives you a basic idea of what, based on your driving habits, how well you're doing in being green. You see the red leave there, that'll go green if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Anyway, and if you have a route in there, I'll go ahead and put a route in here real quick. This is standard Garmin, so you have your restaurants, gas stations, all that. You have your categories over here in the top right. And if you go to gas stations, for example, you can use the down button if you want, but I'm just going to go ahead and use my finger here and scroll, so it'll be a little quicker. I'm going to go to one of these. And it brings up information. If you want to see what the phone number is and you want to see what the route information is, you got a 6-minute time to get over to this Turkey Hill, which is about 3 miles away. And this is not bird's eye. This is actually how long or how far it is based on the turns and, you know, and all that. That doesn't take into account traffic, obviously, and stop signs and stop lights. But you got the go button on the bottom here. It's already calculated it, so it should be pretty much already in there, ready to go, ready to navigate. And you have a delay probably about maybe about 7 or 8 seconds before she starts telling you which way you're supposed to go. So should be happening here in a second or two, hopefully. She would tell us. The Garmin
Please drive to highlighted route.
And there it is. And now we have an additional icon over here, which is the stop the route icon. So I just went ahead and stopped that. And that gives you a basic idea on that. And of course you have your split screen options, which are not great in my opinion, but anyway, you can bring up whatever you may have had playing there. Whether you had an iPod in there, or you had a USB. Right now it's coming up under the Bluetooth, and it's playing you can see it change down here in the bottom of the screen here. So it works really well. Doesn't really give you anything up here. I'm not sure what's going on. It doesn't really show you anything there. It's kind of empty. Now if you're playing a video through the DVD player and you bring up the GPS, it will actually show the video there, which is pretty cool. Let me show you that real quick. Again, I do have mine wired, grounded, so you can play it while the car's actually working or actually moving, but I wouldn't recommend that to you. Let me just see if I can get back to the Garmin screen here. Let's go here. And if we go to, probably the easiest way is to go to the sources. Oops. Wrong button. Here we go. Now we're on disk. It should come up here on the screen here in a second. There it goes. Okay, so you can see it's kind of a buggy kind of feature, and if I knew how to use it, it'd probably be less buggy. But anyway, it brings that up when you're playing videos. And of course, if you wanted to go to, you just hit the bottom of the screen there and it'll go right to the DVD. Turn the volume down here. That gives you an idea what you can do with it. I don't think that split screen there on the navigation shows anything unless you're on that, unless you're on the DVD. Doesn't seem to show anything else. So now there's your sources. You can get that on the other button here. And you can go to those different sources. See, now I'm on HD radio, and of course you can tune it. And if I go to, let's go back here, SD, for example. Now on SD, it's on the movie right now. So if I want to go to the movie, so yeah, it works really, really well. And it's pretty quick in my opinion, but not without its faults. Very good unit overall. I hope this helps you out if you're looking for one. I didn't see a whole lot of videos online about this unit. In fact, I didn't really find any videos online other than a couple sites that were real short. So I thought I'd do a hands-on one for you. If you're not looking for a unit with navigation, you could go with a DDX, a Kenwood DNX series, which is going to work very similarly. The menus might actually be a little different, and the icons that you on the home screen and so on could be different. I think there's videos floating around online about those units. It'll be a little bit quicker though as far as startup goes. I won't have to load the maps in for the Garmin and all that. And I hate to say it, but if I didn't want the Garmin navigation, I would probably go with a Pioneer unit for just a standard multimedia DVD HD radio unit, because I think they do a little bit better when it comes to those kind of units. But the Garmin navigation is much better, I believe, than what you're going to find on the Pioneer navigation units. So I hope this helps you out. And if you want to leave a comment, a valid comment, or if you have any questions, feel free to do that below. Thank you.